Greetings, I'm Barrett and welcome to Meet Me at the Table. Today we're going to be continuing our playthrough of Kingdom Death Monster. We are returning to our settlement. We're going to go through the entire settlement phase and then we'll go into the hunt phase. But if I remember right, this isn't a hunt phase one. I think we have to take on a nemesis monster. So you'll see how that goes moving forward. Of course, before we start this, there are a couple things I need to rectify from our last battle. Thank you to the people that watched it and were able to comment and help me out. The first thing we have to do is, of course, I have one in torment for the person who took a, here it is, this guy, Rand, poor Rand. Oh no, one of our main stars here. Let's discuss Rand. Rand is a wonderful person. Sadly, Rand also rolled on the table of death for when we took too much damage into our brain, our insanity. So sadly, what happened is I'm supposed to subtract one from the number, not add one, which is what I did. So what I am going to do for poor Rand, normally he'd be dead. I would have rolled a 2 instead of a 3. But what I'm going to do is we do have a lifetime reroll for all of our people. So I'm going to use that lifetime reroll, and we are going to reroll that die and see what actually is going to happen to our friend, poor old Rand here. So let's roll the die and see what it is. We got a 4, so that actually is going to be a 3, which is the one I actually thought I got, I think. Let's check it out. No, it is not. The one that is 3 is actually memory loss, lose 2 levels of weapon proficiency. So that's what we're going to do, lose 2 levels of weapon proficiency, which is not going to affect our character at all because I don't have any weapon proficiency. So what I'm going to do now, remember I got the extra insanity from fleeing, that is going to be removed, but I still get 1 because I got it from the skull. We decided to give it to him. So he is all set to go. He did not die, but he has used his one-time reroll for his life. Having taken care of that one mistake, thank you so much for catching that. We're going to go into our settlement phase. And if you're excited to see what befalls our adventurers or our survivors or whatever you want to call these poor people in this great game, then I need you to meet me at the table. I gave everybody their hunt experience points. I don't think we did that at the end of our last phase. And some of them are going to gain some new things, but we don't do that until we get to the develop stage, if I remember right, when it comes to the different philosophies and knowledges and things of that nature. So what we're going to do is go straight down our list here. We're going to gain our endeavors. We do have 5 people returning because we did survive, even though we actually died. And I came back to life, kind of. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to update our timeline, which is where we're going to draw our settlement event, resolve it, and we're also going to trigger any story moments we have in our sheet that tells us what to do. And here's the sheet that tells us what to do. So I'm going to mark down that we are going into Lantern Year 4. And at this point, I am going to be fighting that Nemesis encounter. So we're going to be taking on a Butcher level 1. Now we need to draw a random settlement event. So I'm going to give these a quick little truffle shuffle here. They're big, huge, giant cards. And it's hard for me to kind of shuffle them sometimes. We're going to cut it right about here. There we go. We'll take this one and see what we have found. We have found Velvet Fog settlement event. A swarm of fuzzy lantern bugs descend upon the settlement like warm blankets. They chitter and shake the glowing fluid from their abdomens. Why do I feel this is not going to be good? More interested in one another than the settlement. A survivor bashes open one of and slurps the bioluminescent juice. It's delicious. Roll a d10. Why would you do this? Why would you break open this bug? Are you that crazy? Oh boy. Oh boy, I would never be, I'm afraid of bugs. I would never do anything like this. I got a 4. What's a 4? It says, revelry overtakes the settlement, providing an escape from the, the anxiety. Departing survivor gains +3 survival this lantern year. And I do have some lingering effects. I can remove a disorder of your choice, but skip the next hunt phase to recover. Not an end of the world. I might be doing that. And if I want to, I can synthesize love juice by using 1 hide. Now, sadly, we didn't get, well, I think we got like 1 hide when we came back from our last adventure here. So I don't know if we'll be taking advantage of that. But wow, that was something else. I'll drink the bugs. But I don't think I ever will drink bugs. At this point, we don't have any death count to update. We have updated the timeline. I see what else we have next to death count. We can check for milestones and develop. So this is where we're going to go ahead, check out our characters, and deal with our hunt XP, where we can gain more into our philosophies, and somebody actually is going to gain one. The next thing we need to do is everybody's going to gain a Hunt XP. I don't think I did this at the end of the battle, so we're going to give everybody a Hunt XP, which is going to increase all of their philosophies, and it's going to give a philosophy to Elaine. So first, let's check out what Elaine's philosophy is. The only philosophies we have to gain right now are these 4. So we're going to give these a little truffle shuffle here. We're going to draw out one of them and see which one we get. We got ourselves Deadism. All right, we are going to see what exactly Deadism does for her. Here is our Deadism book. It says, "You're already dead," which is just above this. So for our neurosis here, we're going to get disembodied. That means that we are nothing matters. You cannot gain insanity. That's going to be kind of brutal, which means we're going to be pretty much taking brain traumas quite a bit in this, but we'll see how it goes. I also get my tenant, which is Death Poet, and these are going to be a rank up as we go through this, so we are at rank 1 right now. Here's the book. It is showing a picture of us around all these people here. It says, "Deadism, you are dead, and this is the land of the dead. Is this the land of eternal respite, or a prison of the damned?" I'm going to gain a lumen, and then we're going to roll a d10 and see what befalls our character here. I've got a 5. 5 says, "Peering into the dark, you hear the rolling chaos of teeth and claws. With a stifled chuckle, you dismiss the grim-faced worries of everyone around you. The dead are dead and cannot die." I'm going to gain the knowledge called Evermore. Here are the 2 knowledges we just gained. Death Poet 1, it says, "When you suffer a brain trauma, I get to gain a +1 strength, telling it limit once per showdown. And when you suffer the brain trauma, I get to increase the ability to gain Death Poet 2. The next one we got was Evermore. It says here, "You know this world is the afterlife, and you are undeathable." Undeathable is an amazing word. I'm probably going to start using it. Undeathable, if you would die, you roll a d10 on a 6+, you inexplicably survive. And my observation is going to be, whenever I inexplicably survive, I'm going to gain 1 towards gaining Evermore 2. Now, I need a 3 in order to advance this card, where I only need 2 for Death Poet. This one seems really cool. I don't know if I want to have to deal with that kind of stress when I'm playing. 2 of our characters are going with survivalism, and that is going to be Rand and Egwene. So they're going to be moving into the 2nd level. It says, "Survivors and their tools are feeble. No one and nothing can protect you, so you give into fear. It electrifies your exhausted body." I'm going to gain +1 lumen and roll a d10. We'll roll first for Rand. Let's see what Rand got. A 3. So he's going to be in this area. And then we'll roll for Egwene. Egwene got an 8. 8's going to be down in this area. So let's see what happened to Rand. "You cast your eyes around the settlement to see nothing but threats to your survival. Fear extinguishes love. You will throw anyone in the monster's path if it means saving yourself. I get to gain the knowledge Meat Shield." All right, well, that's fantastic, Rand. Now, Egwene is going to, "You practice keeping your eyes open while they are closed. You gain Death Sense." Now, these are going to change with if you have different cognitive cognitions. We only have 2 right now, so none of these other ones are going to fire off. So instead, we are going to grab ourselves Meat Shield and Death Sense. Rand the man here has decided to gain Meat Shield. Now, interestingly enough, this is not one I really want. What it says here is, before resolving damage from a monster's move and attack action, you may exchange places with the survivor adjacent to you. They suffer any damage in your stead. A switched survivor cannot perform Meat Shield or dodge. Now, that, I don't know how good that's going to be. Now, the deal is, when you gain a new knowledge from leveling up your ability here, you have to take it. So I had to remove one from me. I kept my accuracy training, but I got rid of one of the other ones I had. The interesting thing is, the one I used to have the rules were for it is that I was take +1 torment. I don't believe I lose that. I still keep the +1 torment. We used to have darkness, which says whenever you suffer brain damage, this one right here, it says there's something out to get you +1 torment. I believe you keep that no matter what. I can't just decide not to have that. It doesn't go away when I get rid of the actual knowledge, this, from what I understand. So that is Rand's. Rand has got Meat Shield. Egwene got Death Sense 1. It states here, a theory, an inkling of an idea that cured, basically this is just a theory right now. What happens is every time you dodge, I get to gain 1 that gets me closer to Death Sense 2. I have to get rid of one of these 2, so I'm going to remove Fear 2. And there's not going to be any penalty to this, which is kind of nice. So I'll just put that down and we'll just have to start dodging. That's going to be our plan. Now, Perrin has Dreamism and is about to get to his level 2 ability here. So we're going to read what it says here. It says you reverently meditate at the Guardian's feet. The Dreamkeeper holds the fates of so many in its hands. Its crooked smiles hide the secret of knowing what is to come. You ask for a prophecy of the future. In answers to your prayers, the Guardian shifts its immense weight, plucking a sleeping figure with its brittle black nails. All right, I'm going to gain 1 lumen, and we're going to roll a d10 and see what we get. We got a 4. So number 4 says down here, the glistening dreamer sits at your feet, raising their hands into the air. You press your palms against theirs in answer. The dreamer leans close and tells you that they dreamed you had emerged from one of their hinged fingernails. Gain +1 population. Oh, you and the dreamer gain fingernail door. Oh, that's amazing. All right. We got +1 population. That's awesome. Super excited for that. Plus I get a lumen. Here's our fingernail door 1. This looks super good. You feel something escape from the tips of your fingers. The sensation is oddly refreshing. When you roll a lantern 10, before anything else happens, physically rotate the die to a 1 and gain +1 to sanity. That's absolutely, that's, no, barf. There's nothing good about that. Maybe there is in fingernail too. So I guess in theory, we're going to use this now. I need to do it 5 times. If I can do this 5 times, I get to get fingernail door 2. Don't know how good that can be. Oh, we also get another survivor. Our new survivor is Liandrin. She starts with everything we normally would. We get a survival, a strength, a evasion, and she also will now have that fingernail door. At this point, it's time to develop our civilization here. We're going to start by using Symposium to try to innovate ourselves. I'm going to use that as a hide, that as a bone, and that as an organ. Sadly, we didn't get many hides, so this is like the only hide I have. So we're going to draw 3. It was a 4 innovations, and we're going to pick one of these 4, and then we'll shuffle the rest back in. We'll take that one, we'll take this one, and we'll take that one. Those are the 4. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's take a look at what we have. We have either Nightmare Training. I can lose 3 survival, roll a d10, and I could potentially get something good, or I can spend a survival, roll again. If I get a 1, I spend a survival, or I die. I gain a weapon proficiency level or a permanent accuracy and strength. Now remember, 8 through 9 weapon proficiency, I don't really have those, so I don't really know if Nightmare Training is going to be that great. Shrine, departing survivors can gain +1 insanity, or final adjustments, departing survivors gain +1 to all hit locations. I put the shrine consequences into the event deck. Ooh, that seems really good. Let's see what this one is. This is Sculpture. I can spend a thing here. I can't remember what those are right at the top of my head. Endeavors. Why can't I even think of endeavors? Okay, we can spend an endeavor. You bear your soul to create an inspirational statue. Skip the next hunt and lose a knowledge. It will be embodied in the statue. Note that on the settlement record, the settlement can only ever have one inspirational statue. Always share this knowledge in addition to others at the forum. It costs 1 less a lumen to gain. Interesting. So of all of the different knowledges that my characters have, I could put one of them onto that statue. Interesting. I'm not thinking that's going to happen. Scarification. I can use a endeavor 2 once per lifetime, gain +1 courage, and roll on the hit location. I can be blind. I can gain the tough fighting art. I can get destroyed genitals. That's terrible. I can get a gambler's scar, gain 1 permanent luck. Or I can get on a d6, roll a 6, you lose some toes. No, I don't think that's good. We're going with Shrine. Even though these might bring in better innovation, add Sculpture consequences to the innovation deck, those might be pretty good. But I think we're going to mix all these back in, and we're going to give ourselves the ability to make a Shrine and add the Shrine consequences to the deck. The only one looks like we're adding this time is Sacrifice, so I will add that to our deck. give it a truffle shuffle, and we'll put this back into our little slot where all the innovations go and be able to pull them out next time we innovate. On top of that, we do have some endeavors to spend. I could do some on shrines. I could do some on the death pack, but I need to have a hide and an organ. I just don't have those right now. The rest of these, I don't think there's anything we can do with them. There is, of course, this to drink the blood bug juice. So I'm going to spend 3 endeavors, one here, here, and one there. This is going to get rid of the 2 disorders I have on 2 of my characters. And then we're going to roll on this. We use once per settlement phase. We'll see what happens here. Hopefully we get a 4+. We got ourselves a 6. A 6 will give us the ability to get +1 to all hit locations. And in case you're wondering why I rolled twice, it wasn't in the shot the first time, and I like to have people see what the dice roll is. Normally, you have a little dice tray. I should have just brought that out and used that, so these things don't go flying all over the place. But we did get a 6, so we get +1 to all of our different hit locations, which is going to be absolutely fantastic. So Matt and Egwene are not going to be able to go on the next hunt. They have to skip the next hunt because I got rid of both of their disorders. Now, with those skip the next hunt, I can't remember if that means that the Nemesis monster is considered that, or if it actually is a full hunt. I think it's a full hunt, so I don't think these characters are going to be used actually for the fight against the Nemesis or the next hunt we go on. I could be wrong. If I am, please let me know in the comment section below. And also, if there are any errors post-launch of this video, please put a timestamp in the comment section of this video, and in the Klingon subtitles, I'll make sure to talk about the error. And on top of that, I'll post a pinned comment that also talks about what I did wrong, which hopefully is not much, but with a lot of stuff going on in Kingdom Death Monster, it can totally happen. Let's move on to the rest of the things we're going to do with we have 2 endeavors left. I don't really know what we're going to do with those, but these 3 have been spent. I am going to build some stuff now. The 2 things I'm going to build, I could build many different things, but I think I like the idea of getting armor. And only 2 armor pieces I can get are these. Now I can get these singing gloves where I can reduce the cost of performing my ballads by 1. Ballads are the things that can be found on some of those weapons. For example, this one has Ballad of Perfection 7. Spend an action to archive 7 cards from the wound stack to perform. All survivors increase their perfect hit range by 1. So that could be something I could do. It'll give me +1 to that if I give this to that particular character. Spoiler alert, it's not going to go to that character. Other thing I'm going to do is Singing Cap. Now, this one says, when you are attacked and suffer more than 1 hit, ignore 1 hit. That's absolutely bonkers amazing. Sadly, it means that these 2 things have to be locked. Those 2 things have to be locked. I don't have a way of locking those 2 things right now, so that's not going to be able to fire off. But giving people more armor, I think, is the way to go. Well, could be wrong. I'm not sure. Now, in order to make those 2 particular things, we had to go to the, was it the Chronoseum? And I had to spend a singing tongue, a gaseous belly, a tail fat, and a delicate hand. I had to have the gaseous belly and the delicate hand, and then any other organ. So I've chose to use all those as organs. So that's going to be all we're going to build. The only other things we have left are, we have, these I use for innovations. I have bones. I have lots and lots of bones. And if anybody can think of something to use these for, that'd be fantastic. But I think instead, I'm just going to put these into our supply, and that's really going to be all we're going to do. I do have these 2 endeavors that we could take advantage of, though. I am going to grab a hollow stone that we're going to put into our inventory, and then I'm going to augur with our newest person. I'm going to augur with Leandra, and we're going to roll a die and see how it goes here. I need to get, what is it? I can add extra to the die if I have 3 or higher understanding. Nobody has that. Nobody has any understanding in my village. So let's see what we get here. Roll it up, we got ourselves an 8, which means we have intimacy, which means we can perform an intimacy interaction here. It's gonna be awesome. Here's our intimacy table. I'm gonna have to roll twice because of our survival of the fittest, which is just right over there. And I have to take the lower of the roll. I get a lantern 10 or a 7. Lantern 10 would be awesome, but I'm gonna have to go with 7, which I'm telling you right now is not gonna be bad at all either. It says gain 1 population. The parents decide to spend time alone with the newborn. None of them may participate in any endeavors this year. The experience is wonderful, and the parents each gain 10 survival. If the settlement has a grand feast, the newborn's hunger shifts from food to knowledge. The newborn gains knowledge from one of their parents. Okay, so actually none of that's going to take place. Also, I forgot to tell you what survivors we're nominating. That was my fault. I was actually going to nominate 2 survivors that we haven't even named yet, because that way I would, if something really bad happened, I wouldn't have to worry about it. But we didn't do that. I forgot who I was going to nominate. So instead, so we are going to gain the 1 population, and I'm going to give 10 survival to 2 unnamed survivors. With this population, it does bring our total in our settlement to 14. I have nothing left to develop, so we're going to move on. We're repair our departing survivors and have to deal with the butcher. And I've put all of our resources onto our sheet. So let's figure out who we're going to send out in the settlement to take on the butcher. For this particular fight, I am not going to bring a scout with me. We're not going to use the scout at all. Our first survivor is going to be Elaine. She has that blood glass dagger, some stone noses, and a founding stone. She's going to have 1 to all of her armor, plus because of the shrine, and +1 for her waist. She has 2 insanity, but for basically the rest of her life, disembodied is going to be firing off, which means she cannot gain insanity, but she had to before we started this. She's going to have 4 survival, and that's it. We're going to have one of our newer survivors. This is going to be Layla. She has the entire rawhide set, so she's going to have 3 down the entire column here for when it comes to the amount of armor she has, which is awesome. Now, she doesn't have anything else because she hasn't really been around long enough to get a whole bunch of other cool things. But she does have the 4 survival that we all pretty much all going to start with. Perrin will take all of this with him. He's got the clothed armor, seeing gloves, and seeing cap. So that means he is going to get that clothed and satiated ability. So he's able to add 1 to all of his hit locations. Plus, of course, we have the lantern helping out as well from the shrine. So he'll be having 4 survival, 5 in the head, arms, 3 in the waist, and 2 in the body and the legs. He does have the, fingernail door one. So it could be kind of interesting going forward. But that's going to be everything he's going to take with him. I think he's going to be pretty awesome. The last person is going to be Rand. Rand is going to bring, he's going to be the one with that Crocborn hammer. And he has, again, the clothed and satiated ability because he does have 3 of any type of things, of armor. So he is going to, he doesn't have this anymore, thank goodness. But he is going to have 1 insanity. He has 4 survival and 4 in the arms, or head and legs, 2 in the waist, and then 1 in the other 2 places. He's going to have the meat shields again. This will be pretty interesting. He can throw people in the way, which might be, he and Perrin might be hanging out because Perrin has a ton of armor. So there might be a way that he might just throw Perrin in front. I mean, we'll see. We'll see how it all goes here. But that's going to be Rand, and that's going to be everybody. We'll be moving into our next video where we're going to be taking on the Butcher. Here's the Butcher miniature that I had a chance to paint up and get ready to go. This I painted a long time ago, back when the original Kingdom Death came out, so it's been a while since I've actually used this guy in anything, I think, so it'll be pretty awesome to put him back on the table. I'm pretty excited to. I even made these like blood dripping off of his axe. That was a long time ago, and I was playing, learning new things to do with my guys. So we're going to take him on in the next video. I hope you enjoyed this short video of getting our characters ready for this particular combat. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell symbol so you know when more Kingdom Death Monster comes out, and you'll know when we fight the Butcher, release the level 1 Butcher. We'll see if we can take him down. Also, feel free to leave anything in the comments below. I would love to hear from everyone. And if you're interested in supporting the channel, please feel free to join the Patreon. The link to that is also found in the description of this video. After we fight the Butcher, I'm actually going to ask my Patreon supporters who we should go after in the next video or the next series that we're going to be hunting. Could it be the Crimson Crocodile, or do we go after the Smog Singers yet again? Those that have joined the Patreon are located here on the screen. Thank you so much for your patronage. It does mean the world to me. Also, some of the perks they get with not only be able to be not only be able to influence the game and what we do in it, but also I let the Patreon supporters be able to see the videos that we do, at least the playthroughs, usually about a day or 2 ahead of time without commercial interruptions. There we go. We're going to be fighting the Butcher. We completely went through the settlement phase of this lantern here. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're excited to see more Kingdom Death Monster or anything else that Colin and I have coming up, then I need you to meet me at the table.